What is going on, guys, and welcome back to Lever French. In today's video, we are going to be reacting to some pretty scary videos, and they're all animated stories, and I'm pretty sure they are true stories, as far as I know. So without further ado, let's get into it.
The GPS showed 11:47 p.m. when I pulled up to 1247 Maple Street. I should have trusted my gut right then and there. The house sat back from the road, swallowed by overgrown hedges that hadn't seen a trimmer in years. Every other house on that block had porch lights on except that one. It was crouched in sinister darkness. I grabbed the massive order from my basket. 6 large pizzas, breadsticks, wings, the works. The kind of order that made my rent money, so I couldn't afford to be picky about the time or the neighborhood. Just as I got out of my car, my phone buzzed with an updated delivery instruction. Use the side door, knock 3 times. That should have been red flag number.
That should have immediately been a red flag, because if someone is telling you to knock a certain amount of times, I'd probably just set the food probably on the sidewalk and basically just dip, because I wouldn't want to sit around for any longer than like 2 seconds for that. Just no.
2.
He'd better give me a hefty tip.
The side door was tucked between 2 dying shrubs, barely visible from the street. I knocked 3 times like I was asked, shifting the pizza bags in my arm. The weight was making my shoulders ache,
Dumb idea.
but it was my last delivery of the day. The door swung open immediately.
Oh,
Standing
God.
right behind it, counting seconds. "You're late,"
Oh, hell no.
he grumbled, wide eyes raking.
She's late. She's late. Wow. Look at that face. That's a face of nightmares right there. What the hell am I looking at? Holy shit.
Every inch
Dear
of my
God.
body. The guy was maybe 50, of average height and wearing a faded gray t-shirt that had seen better days. His hair was thinning on top, but long in the back, like he couldn't decide which decade he belonged in.
Sorry, traffic was crazy.
I lied.
That'll be $147.83.
"Come inside." He stepped
Damn.
back, gesturing into the dark hallway behind him. "I need help carrying this."
I can't really come inside. The company policy...
"I'm disabled. I can't carry it all myself. If you can't come in, you better take it back." His face changed,
The
just
hell?
slightly, but I caught it. The eyes narrowed, and the lips twitched. I looked at him standing there. Neither
That's
a cane nor a
creepy as
wheelchair
hell.
was in sight. His disability was either invisible or non-existent, but I couldn't definitely take the order back.
Okay. Just to the kitchen.
I said. Maybe there were people with invisible disabilities. Maybe I was being paranoid. But even in my overworked, delirious state, I knew I was lying to myself. The hallway smelled all wrong, not with the stench of rotten food or cleaning products or even mustiness. It was some repugnant chemical, so strong it made my nose burn and my head spin. I followed him
That's
deeper into the
disturbing.
house, past
Really
a
is.
living room where all the furniture faced the wrong direction, away from the TV and toward the hallway we just walked through. "Kitchen's this way," he said, but he was leading me toward a door at the end of the hall. "Down here."
Down?
I stopped walking.
The kitchen's in the basement?
"That's where my guests are waiting." His voice had gotten softer, almost gentle.
That's
"They're
even
hungry."
creepier.
Every instinct I had screamed. The house was dead quiet, except for our footsteps. I couldn't hear any sounds of guests, conversation, or TV.
You know what? I'll just leave these here on the counter.
I said, setting the bags down on a small table in the hallway.
That's a
Your
good
guests
idea,
can come up and
yes.
get them.
"No," he barked. "They can't come up. They're all old men." He moved between me and the front door, casually, like he was just adjusting his position, but now I'd have to go through him
I bet he stank when he walked past her. Jesus.
to get out. "My guests don't like waiting," he continued. "Especially not the new ones. They get cranky when they're hungry." My mouth went dry.
Sir, I'm afraid I'm in a bit of a hurry. Got more deliveries and...
"No, you don't." He grinned sickly, making my supper churn in my stomach. "I checked your app. This was your last delivery of the night." He wasn't supposed to know that. I could feel cold sweat glisten on my palms as he took a bold step
Creep.
closer. The basement's real cozy, soundproof, and warm lights. All my guests loved it down there. Nobody ever wants to leave. I fumbled for my phone, hitting the call button for the first contact I could reach. It went to Maddie, my best friend's voicemail.
Hey!
I said it loudly anyway.
Yeah, I'm at 1247 Maple Street. Yeah, that one. Can you come help me with this drop-off? The customer has a really big order and needs help getting it downstairs.
The man's face went.
Okay, this is just creepy as hell. First off, he shouldn't know that at all of her, having a final order and stuff like that. That he should have like no knowledge about that whatsoever. And it's creepy how he does know. And I'm honestly questioning, like, sir, how do you know this? Like, there's no way he should know. I mean, I know there's, probably some apps out there where it may show you that. I don't know that for sure. But they usually have to tell you that themselves in person. That's their final one if they, like, want to, I guess. But I don't get this. It's weird.
White. His eyes darted toward the front door, then back to me.
There's a lot of food here.
I continued into the phone.
Yeah, I'm in the side door. Just come around the back. You'll see it right there.
Hang up, he said quietly.
What? Oh, okay, Jake. Yeah, just hurry. I want to get home fast.
I ended the call and looked at him.
My coworker's wet out. It should just be a minute.
For a moment, white spots danced in my vision as I watched his eyes twitch darkly. I used the distraction to hurriedly walk past him, trying not to run and keeping my breathing steady. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely turn the door handle.
We're waiting for the girl! What's taking so long?
A sleazy voice boomed behind me. There were more footsteps.
Okay, now that's when you know you need to leave and get the hell out of there. Because if they're saying specifically they're waiting for the girl, they should have just said waiting for the food. If they didn't have anything planned or anything like that, they never would have said that whatsoever. Yeah, this is just gonna get creepier as it goes on, isn't it?
She had company. I had to let her go. He snapped. I made it to my car, threw it in reverse, and backed out of the driveway faster than I'd ever moved in my life. In my rearview mirror, as I drove away, I caught a glimpse of his garage. The door was partially open, and I could see plastic sheeting hanging from the ceiling and coiled rope on a workbench. My hands were still shaking when I called 911. The police reached the house, made a thorough investigation. The basement was soundproofed. There were zip ties, jars of chloroform stacked in the corner. They even found
that's not
metal
creepy at
rings
all.
bolted
Zip
into
ties?
the walls and a handwritten sign that read guests in neat block letters. It looked like a dark web torture room. The cops also found 3 driver's licenses in the kitchen drawer. All young women about 20 who'd gone missing over the past 2 years after their late-night
Okay,
deliveries.
that's creepy as hell.
I keep thinking about that room, the plastic sheeting, and how he knew it was my last delivery. But mostly, I think about his smile when he said
Again, there's
his
no way he
guests
should know
never
that.
want to leave, because now I understand what he meant.
Holy crap. Oh my gosh. Okay. That is creepy as hell. Like, how would he know that, first of all? And second, they never should have even, like, he never should have known that it was her last delivery of the night. And then the fact that there were people down there that literally said, or there weren't, I don't know for sure, but there were people down there that literally said, like, hey, we're waiting for the girl. Where is she? If they weren't trying to be creepy and they was actually for the food, they should have just said it, they were waiting for the food and not her. Like, I get it, she was the one carrying the food, but like she mentioned at the beginning, she could have just put it on the kitchen, like on the kitchen table. Or he could have just, took it from her himself and called it a day there. I don't get this. It's dumb. It's stupid. And this is the kind of stuff you guys got to watch out for. And, I'm actually being serious on that one. Watch out for these kind of people. It's messed up. It's scary. I've been watching a lot of videos on people out there who are actually creeps and people out there who, I don't know, they run into the wrong people. There's, front door cameras catching bad stuff or suspicious people, etc., etc. It goes on and on. Yeah, my goodness. So this right here is going to be story 2, and yeah, so let's get
Dating
into that one.
beyond 30 is strange. You're too old for the seduction games, yet too young to quit. That's when I tried a local dating app recommended by a friend of mine. I matched with a 29-year-old girl named Claire. She
Yes,
was a
Tinder.
brunette with big green eyes and a charming smile.
Ha!
We met
Tinder.
at this
Yep.
charming small cocktail bar down the block. At first, I assumed
Such
it would
a
be
popular
awkward,
app.
like every previous date I'd been on. But Claire, well, let's just say she seemed different. When I got in, she was already waiting for me at the table, dressed in this cute red skirt paired with a white tank top. She smiled, and I smiled back. We hit it off instantly. She was smart and witty and made good jokes instead of boring small talk. And she listened. What more can a man ask for, right? After a couple of drinks,
Right?
I asked if she wanted to return to my apartment. She did not hesitate. I live alone in a decent flat on the top floor with an open layout. When we entered, she complimented the artwork, lighting, and even my playlist. But then she glanced at my bookshelves, which were mostly empty other than a handful of books.
You don't collect Labubu?
The what?
Labubu. The designer toys? You've never seen them?
She
What?
got out her phone and showed me her wallpaper. It was of a wide-eyed, sharp-toothed
What
small
is with those
creature that
things? I
resembled a
don't get it.
hybrid between a rabbit and a goblin. She then started scrolling her album and showed me photo after photo of glass cases loaded with toys. They were of various colors, sizes, and expressions. Some were smiling while others were snarling.
I have over 70, and each one is unique.
I tried not to laugh.
You
Unique?
have 70?
And these
Jeez.
things? Honestly, they resemble devil rabbits. Probably the creepiest toys I've ever seen. Suddenly, her smile faded, her eyebrows furrowed, as if I had deeply offended her.
They're gorgeous. Simply don't get it.
I shrugged and thought the best way to diffuse the situation would be to play cool. Okay, sure. To each their own. She stared at me for a second, and I could sense something had changed in her. She was no more the person she was last hour.
How can you not like them?
She inquired, as if she was giving me a second chance to rethink. I
What's
chuckled.
the big deal?
Honestly,
Everyone likes
if I
them.
ever saw one of those in my house, I'd probably burn it. That was the exact moment when everything went awry. Her expression went blank, her pupils
Jeez.
dilated, making her eyes scarier. She stood up slowly and walked to my kitchen counter without saying anything. I watched her pick up the sharp knife that I had left
To
out
the
while
kitchen
cutting
counter.
limes earlier. I laughed nervously.
Oh, damn.
Okay, are you doing something right now? 'Cause she shushed me, putting the knife on her lips.
I brought you one.
She whispered. What? She dug into her large tote bag and took out a miniature Labubu figure, jet black.
This is
with
when I would
scarlet
probably
eyes.
book it
She
and
placed
close
it on
the
the
door
counter,
behind me.
close to the knife.
I wanted
way.
him to meet you.
I felt my chest tightening. Okay, Claire, enough of your jokes. Put the knife down. She did not move. Her eyes twitched like she was trying too hard to control herself. Then, in a low, shaking voice, she spoke.
He heard what you said. You should apologize.
I backed up, totally furious now. I'm not apologizing to some crappy toy. Just Miss Psycho is obsessed with
I'd
it.
be
My phone was on the
angry
couch about
and
10 feet
terrified,
away. I tried
to
to
be
remain
honest.
cool. Look, it's late. You should probably leave. She suddenly lunged. I was ready to dodge, but she sliced my arm open and then started screaming about how I should apologize to her
Oh.
boo-boo. I lurched backward, nearly tripping over the
Ow.
coffee table. I grabbed my
God.
phone and locked myself in the bathroom. I stood against the door while she kept kicking and banging on it like some maniac. I dialed 911. My hands were shaking. I informed them that a woman I had brought home was having a breakdown and that I was concerned for my safety. She stopped banging after about a minute, but I did
Jesus.
not open the door. I pushed my ear against the wood and listened. I heard whispers. Her voice indicated that she was speaking to someone. She had stopped yelling or screaming, just whispering. It was terrible. 10 minutes later, 2 police officers arrived. As they got in, I opened the bathroom door just enough and pointed them at Claire, who was now sitting on the couch, clutching the Labubu to her chest like it was her forever treasure. The officers warned her, and then one of them
Jesus
cuffed
Christ.
her. She was bleeding from her hands from thumping on the washroom door too hard. There was cotton everywhere on the couch as she angrily stabbed the
Good.
pillows.
I'm glad they
When the
arrested
cops
her.
were taking her
Jesus.
away, she kept yelling.
How could anyone hate Labubu?
Her voice echoed in the corridor, louder than it should have been. I came out.
Not everyone likes them. Why get mad about it? Not everyone likes the same damn doll you do. There's no Why? Okay. I've actually never met or seen a person at all, man or woman, be super obsessed with one specific doll or brand of doll for that matter. Like, it's crazy how far some people will go for the stuff they like, or in this case, are literally and, obviously, clearly obsessed with. Like, why? And honestly, what's going on right now, like what they're doing to her, like arresting her and stuff like that, that is absolutely needed. I'm glad they did, because if they didn't come to like take her away from the apartment and escort her out, he probably would have died, literally, because Jesus,
Out of the
God.
washroom and watched her leave. She did not look at me once. It was 3 weeks ago. The cops later informed me that Claire had no criminal record. She is clean, but she was a member of online forums with obsessive fan clubs that treated these toys like living entities. They believed she needed psychiatric evaluation. Claire said, in her defense, that the Labubu line became her new purpose. They told me I could press charges against her, but I didn't. I knew they would send her to some mental institution anyway,
yeah.
So what's the point in making
she
things
cut
harder
you
for her?
literally on the arm.
After
so,
all,
yeah.
she is sick, because any obsession that erases your sense of reasoning is a medical problem. I haven't heard from her since. I just hope she gets all the help she needs. And to all the Labubu fans out there, you guys better stay away from me.
Agreed, 100%. Oh crap, my chest is literally tightening because of that. Oh my God, like I cannot imagine experiencing something like that, where you literally meet someone on a dating website or app or whatever it is, and later on you find out, maybe within like 10 to like 30 or even an hour worth of time, that they're clearly like ill, mentally, physically, or in some matter they're just completely ill. And you can tell by either the way they talk, tone of voice, the behavior that they're acting as, or just anything. It could be literally anything. That's why you want to keep your eye out on pretty much anyone. I mean, you don't need to be paranoid. I'm one of those people who sometimes is paranoid quite a bit, but you don't need to be the same as me, because I'm just my own person. We all are. But that is just, oh my God. Anyway, let's get into the third and final story.
I'm not proud of how lonely I got after my breakup. I'm 40 and work in tech. Let's just say I don't exactly light up a room. After the end of a 5-year relationship, I hit a pretty low place.
Tinder
That's when
again?
I downloaded Tinder. I used Tinder as a temporary distraction from serious relationships. And one day, I met Darla. She was 35 with red hair, kind eyes, and a smile that somehow made me feel seen. A little quirky, sure.
That face, though, look at that.
Bruh. And a smile that somehow made me feel seen. A little quirky, sure. She said she lived in an old farmhouse on the outskirts of town and cared for her paralyzed grandfather. She was funny, honest, and actually seemed interested. After a couple of casual dates, she invited me to stay over at her place. She said it would be nice to cook me something homemade, and she didn't like leaving her grandpa alone at night. I hesitated for a second, thinking how fast it was moving, but I was craving connection, so I agreed. The farmhouse was far into the woods. It looked old but cozy, surrounded by a rustic charm. She greeted me with a kiss and a warm smile, then showed me around. The living room was full of antiques. The kitchen smelled like herbs and raw meat. She said she was making stew, her grandfather's favorite. That's when I first noticed something strange. Big chunks of raw meat sitting out on the counter. No fridge, no ice. I asked if she was going to put them away.
Nah, the doctor prescribed it that way. Grandpa's on a full meat diet, you know?
As night came, the
Or
farmhouse
are you on
grew
the full
eerily
meat diet?
quiet.
Who is it?
We sat on the couch and talked, but my eyes kept drifting to the hallway, to Grandpa's door. She said he was paralyzed, couldn't speak, and hadn't left his bed in years. But I never once heard him. No creaks, no coughs,
Yeah,
nothing.
it's a little suspicious.
At
to be
around
honest.
11, she got up, saying she needed to change her grandpa into sleeping clothes and give him his medicines. After she left, I started to feel bored, so I wandered around the house. I walked over to the basement door. Out of curiosity, I opened the door and a wave of reeking odor hit me in the face.
Oh, God.
It smelled like something died down there. I grabbed my phone for light and started down the wooden stairs. As I descended, my knees started trembling. There were jars, dozens of them, filled with what looked like human
Oh,
parts.
goodness.
Fingers.
Hell no. Freaking eyeballs, lungs, and what is that, liver, I think? I don't know. Clearly with some hair on it, too. Jesus. Yeah. Nope, I'm good.
Eyeballs, and pieces of flesh floating in cloudy red fluid. There were crates stacked with bones. Some still had blood and skin on them. And hanging from the ceiling on rusted meat hooks were
Oh,
human
God.
torsos, cut open, ribs
Oh,
exposed.
Jesus.
One still had a wedding ring on. I threw up right there. What the hell? Suddenly, I heard a sound upstairs. The bathroom door swung shut. I rushed up the stairs, locked the basement door again, and returned to the couch just in time.
Uh-oh.
Darla smiled at me.
Everything okay?
No.
I forced a grin.
No.
Yeah, just stretching my legs. My brain was screaming. I needed to get out, fast. But I noticed a deadbolt on the front door, and there was no key in sight. I didn't want to raise suspicion, so I told her I was worn out and asked if I could lie down. She agreed and led me down the hallway, right past her grandfather's room. The door of the room was open, and I saw this small window near the bed. The window was just large enough for me to climb through, which was likely my only escape route. She pointed me at the guest room.
My only question, though, for this is, how can she not tell that he is physically, like, sweating? Because that should show some type of, like, you know, that he's, like, worried, afraid, or concerned or something. But maybe it's because she's just too cracked up in the head to even notice, so.
Across the hall.
I'll be back in a minute with blankets. Just make yourself at home.
As soon as she left, I tiptoed into Grandpa's room. It was pitch black. I used my phone again, low brightness. He was lying in bed. His face was hidden behind a curtain hanging from the ceiling, like in hospitals. There were stacked up plates under his bed with flies buzzing on them.
Oh, God.
My blood curled, thinking I
He's
was in the same
definitely
room
dead.
with the cannibal. I kept my eyes on him
He's
and
dead.
moved toward the
Yeah,
window.
he's
It was
dead.
old and stiff, but I managed to slide it open inch by inch without making much noise. I was almost done when I heard slow, raspy breathing coming from the bed. I froze. I looked back, and without warning, the man's head turned. It snapped to the side like a doll. His eyes opened wide.
Holy
and I
hell.
swear,
No.
I swear on my life, he smiled. Not a soft smile. A grotesque, crooked grin that stretched too far. His teeth were sharp and filthy,
Oh,
like
God.
they'd grown past what was human. I panicked and climbed out the window, scraping my arm on the way down. I didn't stop to look back. I just ran through the woods until I hit the main road.
Good. Yes, keep running.
I hitchhiked to a gas station, from where I called the cops. They went back to the house that night. Here's the part I still don't understand. When they got there, the house was empty. Darla, Grandpa, and the
Jeez.
horror in that basement were all gone. They said the place hadn't been lived in for years. They showed me property records. The last listed owner was a man named Roy Miller, a butcher. He had been paralyzed after a
Okay, so basically what they're saying is that they literally were living there illegally or something, and they had no record on file that the place that, you know, this place had people living in it. There was no record of it. So that's why they're literally saying that the last people to live in it was this person, Roy Miller. That is crazy. Oh my god.
Farm
Jeez.
accident in the late 90s. He died in 2003. And Darla? There was no record of anyone with that name connected to the property. No license, no social, nothing. I check the news every week for stories about missing men, and I can't use dating apps anymore. But sometimes, at night,
Now after
I'll
that,
dream about
definitely
that
not.
house. And in the dream, I'm back in that room, staring into those wide, dead eyes of that old cannibal, as the broken grin slowly stretches across his face.
Jesus, mother. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think about this video, but yeah, there's that. Uh, I gotta admit, um, I think my favorite out of all three of these stories, it had to be the first one. I'm gonna say that right now because there are actually people out there who are actually like that insane, like they're mentally insane like that, and they will like do whatever they have to in their power to make sure that either you like what they like and they force you to like it, or if you disrespect what they like in any manner it is, little to medium to extreme, that they will come back at you in some sort of force or deadly critical force. So overall of this entire video has been, to me at least, more of a learning lesson here. Like, be careful of who you let into your home, especially, but also be careful of what apps you use, because there are people out there who will use apps to lure innocent, you know, uh, people in, and it's scary. It really is. So just all of you guys, for sure, be careful. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was good. I will admit I didn't get scared at all, but it was definitely worrisome. I felt worried for the people that were in these stories, the men specifically. But yeah, so anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be leaving the name of this channel down in the description below, so go check them out because these stories are pretty cool. I gotta admit, there's a lot of them actually too. Um, this one is called IMR Scary Tales, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Drop a like on it if you did, and definitely subscribe to the channel if you are new here, also by chance. Also, I must say too, and I must thank you guys so much for 200 subscribers. We just hit 200 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. We finally reached that goal. The next goal will be 300. I am trying to grow this channel slowly but surely, like every single moment I can every day. So your guys' continuous uh, support to the channel is much, 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 much appreciated, and it's making my dream of being a full-time YouTuber in the future come closer to being a reality. So thank you guys very much for that. But without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.